Hello guys, welcome back to LR Anime. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Flame Emperor episode number 327 based on novel. So let's start. You are too reckless. Seeing that Xiao Yan was fine, Emperor Xiao said with a false alarm. Although he did not know the importance of Xiao Yang to the Golden Dragon King, but based on his superficial understanding of the overlords such as the Golden Dragon King, if something happened to his disciple in his own hands, I am afraid that this level of power, once angered, would be angered. In an instant, you can kill yourself with a slap. Thank you, seniors. These are some holy flame fires. I hope that seniors return to the Dragon Clan and give them to my uncle. After a while, Xiao Yang spoke slowly, and a trace of khaki flames suddenly appeared in the city. Appearing directly here, these holy flames of flames are impressively indicative of Xiao Yang's current state, and once Xiao Yang has finished dealing with his own affairs, he will go to the Dragon Clan. This is obviously for his uncle. Say it in advance. If that's the case, then say goodbye. Looking at Xiao's scene, the Dragon Blood Emperor carefully put away the fire of the holy flame, and then his body shook, the huge dragon body was coming out, and a deep breath emerged on the body, and with a single kick it is to step through the void and stay away. Since the dark red coffin has been broken, and the ghost chi that has finally imprisoned his power has been destroyed by Xiao Yang Shengyang, when will he not leave now? Uncle, I hope things in the Dragon Clan can go smoothly. After I handle my affairs, I will go to the Dragon Clan. Watching the departure of the Dragon Blood Emperor, Xiao Yang muttered to himself. Originally, the Dragon Blood Emperor wanted to exchange the dragon blood in his body for Xiao Yang, but in the future he would be able to get some luster, but the breath of the Golden Dragon King on Xiao Yang's body was too tyrannical. Dragon's blood is also useless to Xiao Yang, so he left here as soon as possible, otherwise, once discovered by the powerhouses of Li Sol territory, it would be a little difficult to escape. However, with the departure of the Dragon Blood Emperor, the barren space suddenly became quiet. The Scales of Tyrant. In the quiet void, above the dark red coffin, Xiao Yang held the Scales of Tyrants in his hand, and the warm aura kept coming from the Scales of Tyrants. Even relying on the tyrannical power of his soul, Xiao Yang could feel a destructive aura from this thumb-sized dragon scale. This is the dragon scale on the body of the 9 great dragon kings, and its might can be learned from the world. Chichi's novels are first published on the whole network. Let's do it. I have stayed here for too long, and the departure of the Dragon Blood Emperor will probably disturb the powerhouses in the Li Sol realm. Let's absorb the dragon scales as soon as possible and enter the next floor. Seeing Xiao Yang in this state, he swallowed. The Lord of Souls said. En. Xiao Yang nodded lightly. The dragon god 5 transformations in his hand now. The first transformation requires dragon blood to nourish him so that he has the qualification to practice, and can increase his physical strength, making his physical strength far surpass that of his peers. The second transformation of the dragon god can imitate the sound of a dragon's roar to shock the enemy, or imitate the dragon body of a real dragon to deceive the enemy. This kind of cultivation is quite easy, but it is only useful for dealing with the dragon. To deal with powerhouses such as humans, it lost a lot of power. The third change of the dragon god, the dragon arm, is mainly based on the dragon scale. It must swallow the dragon scale to absorb its pure power, and then fuse the power in the dragon scale into its own flesh and blood, so as to be able to use its own arm in a short time. Half-dragon, the arm of the half-dragon hand contains the terrifying destructive power, which is jaw-dropping, and this is also a necessary condition for the cultivation of the 5th dragon claws of the dragon god. After all, the human body is similar to the Dragon Clan compared with the Big Mac, it is much weaker. Without the increase of the dragon-like arm, rashly using the dragon's claws, that kind of end is tantamount to digging one's own grave. With a plan in his mind, Xiao Yang did not hesitate, sat cross-legged in the void, closed his eyes and rested his mind. The scales of the tyrant were suspended in front of him. What a tyrannical scale! Xiao Yang lost his voice when he looked at the extremely small scale in front of him, but contained a terrifying power that was terrifying. Take the dragon's blood as a guide. The blood stains the dragon's scales. In an instant, a dazzling wave slowly filled Xiao Yang's body. The blood-red blood is extremely scarlet, and it contains the breath of some kind of ancient creature. It just emerged, and it is killing the scales of the Underlord. Dragon blood. This thing is impressively the dragon blood that Xiao Yang absorbed when he cultivated the first transformation of the dragon god, but this dragon blood is quite thin, not as pure as the 9 dragon kings of the dragon family, but to neutralize the power of the scales, even ordinary dragon blood is enough, because the absorption of dragon scales must be led by dragon blood, otherwise it will explode and die in an instant. Crash. With Xiao Yang's actions, The surrounding scales of Naba's bottom were immediately filled with dragon blood. After the breath, a burst of cyan energy radiated, and it instantly turned into a cyan river. In the middle, the dazzling energy is shocking, as if a little bit of it is contaminated, it will suddenly turn to ashes. Wong buzz. What is this? Seeing that after the appearance of dragon blood, the scales of Baxia turned into a blue river, Xiao Yang couldn't help but say, because at this time, the aura of the scales of Baxia seemed to be much weaker. The scale of the tyrant just now is the real form, and now with the inspiration of dragon blood, it glows with its own power, similar to a kind of self-protection. Only by finding its body in this river can it be smooth. Absorption, and now that there is dragon blood as a guide, as long as you find it, it is extremely convenient to devour it. The Soul Eater explained. Need to find it. Xiao Yang nodded slightly when he heard the words, his dazzling soul power and eyes kept scanning the azure river. Here. In just a moment, that finger-sized and prismatic scale of dominance was completely found by Xiao Yang. At this time, the scale of the Underlord, the blue dragon scale, but it seems to have vitality. Xiao Yang just discovered that his speed skyrocketed and tried to escape. A sound. Xiao Yang didn't give him any chance, and Xiao Yang swallowed the blue dragon scales. Bang bang bang. As soon as the scale of the Underlord entered, an extremely hot breath permeated, but for Xiao Yang, a strong man who had swallowed the holy flame, it was naturally not worth mentioning. The third transformation of the dragon god, let me run it. After Shurenshi, Xiao Yang slowly absorbed the scales of the Underlord, and immediately the blue dragon scales were engraved on his right arm like a worm. After a short while, circles of ancient lines appeared on Xiao Yang's right arm. Finally successful? Now your strength, coupled with the third variant of the dragon god, also has the real power of self-preservation. The Lord of Soul Eater said with relief. Success, but what is this? Xiao Yang smiled happily, but after missing it, he raised the azure dragon arm, with a faint wave, in front of the Soul Eater Lord in junior high school. The pattern of dominance. How is that possible? After seeing Xiao Yang successfully swallowing the scales of the Underlord and successfully displaying the dragon arm of the dragon god's third transformation, behind the extremely terrifying power on his arm, a trace of dark ancient lines quietly emerged. On Xiao Yang's right arm, the cyan dragon scales are densely covered, just like the real dragon arms, but the dragon scales have traces of ancient lines all over the body to form a rather obscure giant beast appearance. The giant beast is like a turtle, with a round body, as indestructible as a real mountain, but with the rendering of dragon scales, it reveals a sense of oppression from the superior. The pattern of dominance. What is this? Hearing the surprised voice of the Soul Eater, Xiao Yang's eyes suddenly became deep, and his eyes were filled with doubts, but Xiao Yang could find that his right arm passed halfway through. After the dragon transformation, the power, destructive power, and even the defensive power will increase by geometric multiples. I am afraid that it can easily cope with the powerhouses in the late stage of the 4-star fighting immortals. I told you that Baxia is one of the powerhouses in the Great Thousand World who has cultivated to the peak of the water attribute. The scales of Baxia are the scales on his body. And the dragons are different from your human beings. The dragon scales on the dragons are close to the body. Over time, they will be contaminated with the power of their cultivation. Therefore, there is a very weak chance on the dragon scales. It will carry its dragon marks. A dragon scale with a dragon pattern has a trace of the Dragon King's power. The Soul Eater said expectantly, and then his eyes fixed on the dragon scale on Xiao Yanqing's right arm. Even if it was his current power is also able to faintly discover some subtle fluctuations from above, as unfathomable as the ocean. A trace of strength. Xiao Yang said incredulously when he heard the words. Xiao Yang does not know the specific power of the 9 Dragon Kings of the Dragon Clan, but to be so praised by the Soul Eater Lord, I am afraid that their power is unfathomable, and if they really have the power of a trace of the tyrant into the water, then Xiao Yang is a collection of the powerhouse with the 4 attributes of fire, wood, thunder, and water. 4 attribute powerhouses. The powerhouses who master the 2 types of attributes are very few in the world. If Xiao Yang, the 4 attribute powerhouses, let go of the wind, I am afraid that they will become the target of countless forces to loot, and if they grow up in the future, their combat power will be very low. I am afraid it is very scary. How is it? After Shun breathed, the Soul Eater asked eagerly, watching Xiao Yang close his eyes and concentrating on carefully comprehending the water attribute power contained in the pattern of the tyrant on his arm. Although this tyrant's pattern is a tyrant's thing, it is hard to say whether it carries the peak water attribute power of the tyrant. Hastily decided. I sensed that the pattern of the tyrant in the dragon scales of the tyrant is actually a defensive fighting skill. After a while, Xiao Yang's eyes flashed with surprise, and he said, "Defensive fighting skills?" The Soul Eater nodded lightly when he heard the words, and he mastered the power of mountains. The defensive power was extremely terrifying, and with the power of the water attribute, this defensive fighting skill must be extremely terrifying, just right for it. Xiao Yang today. Now that I have the defensive fighting skill of the water attribute, and I add the destruction power of the fire element, the power of Xiao Lei, the soul clone, and finally cultivate the power of the wood attribute, I'm afraid I can handle many emergencies. Even the 100-year agreement is also strong enough to set foot on. Xiao Yang muttered to himself when he noticed the dazzling power on the dragon's arm, but when talking about the 100-year agreement, Xiao Yang's palm involuntarily clenched tightly. Xiao Yang has always attached great importance to the century-old appointment made by the so-called guardian of the Xiao family, Qianying. Originally, Xiao Yang's strength reached Dozian, so he could go to the appointment. It is to repay the help of the Soul Eater, so he came to the Ghost World to help the Soul Eater, and secondly, it is also to accumulate strength. Xiao Yang knew that the Xiao clan was wiped out overnight for no reason, and even countless vassal races disappeared. It was him who went to the appointment, and the guardians of the Xiao family would not reveal all the secrets they knew. However, after this trip to the Ghost World was over, Xiao Yang believed that he already had the strength to understand and solve those things, so the 100-year appointment was delayed again and again by Xiao Yang. "Are you all right?" Seeing Xiao Yang falling into a trance for a short time, the Master of Soul Eater opened his mouth and said, "Fine. Teacher, this place has been resolved now. The defensive fighting skills of Dominion are also in my heart. In the future, I can directly use it when fighting people. It's not too late, let's go to the next floor." The dragon arm was put away directly and returned to its normal appearance. With one step, he walked towards the passage, which was the entrance to the third floor. Wang buzzing. Xiao Yang had just left his forefoot, and suddenly a man like a sweeping monk appeared here. What kind of guy has entered the Earth Spirit Pagoda? Why is the Ghost Queen's breath extremely vague, and the Dragon Blood Emperor's breath is also extremely obscure? What is going on? The man dressed as a floor sweeper stood in the barren void on the second floor. Self-mumbling. That guy is a disciple of our spiritual academy, named Xiao Yang. Just when this sweeping monk was puzzled, a strong man with the same dazzling aura also appeared together. Ling Yuanzi, the head of the Lingyuan Institute. Ling Yuanzi, the inner space of the Earth Spirit Pagoda, has lost two strong men one after another. One of them is the old part of the Lord of Soul Eater, and the other is a descendant of the dragon race. The matter of these two is no trivial matter, and this disciple's experience must be terminated. It's over. Seeing the appearance of Ling Yuanzi, the man who was sweeping the floor did not step back, and the dazzling aura permeated his body. Di Shuzi, these things are not something you need to worry about. You should think about how to raise the status of the Earth Spirit Academy to the top of the 5 academies, so as to ensure that the Lord of Souls has given us abundant resources. This disciple, it's impossible to quit. Otherwise, if I'm hungry, I don't mind having an upright fight with you. After all, I haven't fought with all my strength for a long time. At the end of the sentence, the two were actually fighting with each other, as if they would meet at any time. General War. Oh, that's all. If something happens in the depths of the Earth Spirit Pagoda, you will be responsible for all these responsibilities. As soon as he finished speaking, the figure of the sweeper slowly disappeared. He knew that if the two of them really fought, I am definitely not Ling Yuanzi's opponent. It seems that they were right to choose to leave Li Soul domain. When I repay the favor of the Lord of Li Soul, it will be time to leave. But I've been restless recently. Is there something going on? As soon as the voice fell, the two figures disappeared one after another, and the place was returning to peace. On the other side, Xiao Yang, who had left the second floor of the Earth Spirit Pagoda, stepped into the space passage and immediately walked towards the third floor. However, Xiao Yang found that as the floors of the Earth Spirit Pagoda got deeper, the pressure of the stock is also diffused. This pressure is the absolute suppression above the strength, just like in the Earth Spirit Pagoda. Because of the chaos element, I am afraid that there are many powerful guys who are suppressed and sealed. With a sound, the dark space channel was shattering, and Xiao Yang's figure was pulled directly into an unfamiliar area. This time Xiao Yang did not panic. Because of the chaos system of the Earth Spirit Pagoda, everyone entered. In the Earth Spirit Pagoda, every floor experienced is different, because of the mysterious and unpredictable chaos system. What place is this? Just as the space stabilized, the dazzling white light disappeared, Xiao Yang's pupils slowly opened and he lost his voice. This is a world of lava. The next moment, Xiao Yang felt the scorching heat around him like a steamer. On the third floor of the Earth Spirit Pagoda, it seems. Is it a molten world? Wong Om. Looking around, it turned out to be an endless world of molten lava, and a scorching aura filled the air, and this scorching aura was different from ordinary flames. But it's unprecedented. The great heavenly seed scarlet flame. Xiao Yang did not hesitate at all, and displayed the great heavenly seed's defense. The dazzling fire-red flames formed a defensive shield all over his body, and the pressure was reduced a little, and the feeling of burning fighting chi and hunger was reduced a lot. Otherwise, if you go on like this, once your vindictiveness is exhausted, in this violent molten world, you will only have to fall, and immediately pull out your eyes and look towards this extremely mysterious molten world. Here, it is an endless world of molten lava. The world of lava is extremely noisy, as if there is no end, only the existence of boundless lava and flames. The violent undulating lava with huge bubbles seems to have a shocking effect. The strength of the human heart is average, making Xiao Yang feel that something is wrong here. Just when Xiao Yang was puzzled, bubbles suddenly emerged from the molten lava below the molten world. It was just that there seemed to be some other power in the bubbles, although it was extremely weak. Bang bang bang! The bubbles seemed to emerge from the bottom of the molten lava, and they suddenly exploded as soon as they emerged, but the power contained in them actually made Xiao Yang feel powerless, even the hidden deep inside his body. The 9 transformations of the dragon god gave off a rather strange aura. Like an old enemy, like an ally, Xiao Yang was quite puzzled. What is going on here? Xiao Yang couldn't help but look vigilant when he noticed such a bizarre scene. The lava and flames here are definitely not simple and should not be taken lightly. Boy, why did you break into my forbidden area? Just as Xiao Yang's search was fruitless, an angry voice suddenly spread from all directions in the molten world. What sound? Xiao Yang was extremely shocked. The dazzling soul power and flames filled him. He tried to find out the source of the sound, but after searching, there was no trace. After the breath, with the falling of the strange sound, the countless lava in the lava world suddenly became turbulent. Red flame sea of fire. As the aura of the surging molten lava was soaring, the fiery red celestial seed all over Xiao Yang's body erupted directly, and immediately formed a spectacular sea of flames in this lava world. Fei Yang's sea of fire is very powerful, but in this special space today, once it is used, Xiao Yang feels that the power is not as powerful as before, as if it was suppressed by some force. ChemPH. With just such a little power, you are trying to break through my third layer of protection. Human. Die. Sensing that a sea of fiery red flames suddenly appeared in the molten world, the strange sound was spreading from all directions. Boom. The voice fell, and a beam of light that reached the sky suddenly emerged from the bottom of the molten world. The beam of molten lava was cylindrical as a whole, but the strange cyan flame on it made Xiao Yang feel a little bit in his heart. Shock. In this molten world, the flames were basically fiery red, but with the emergence of this cyan light beam, Xiao Yang was aware of something. Crash. The azure beam of light was like entering a realm of no one, and it easily smashed Xiao Yang's sea of red flames, and immediately burst into Xiao Yang with the power of monstrous flames. This level of flame attack is naturally not worth mentioning to Xiao Yang, but the identity of the mysterious guardian is unknown, and Xiao Yang will not reveal his strength in advance. Get out of here. From the very beginning, when the blue flame beam appeared from the bottom of the molten world, Xiao Yang's soul power spread along with it, and at this moment, the surging soul power was facing the molten world like a tide. The bottom attacked away, Xiao Yang roared. Crash. At that time, following Xiao Yang's actions, somewhere in the molten world, an invisible force fell directly from Xiao Yang's body, and immediately forcibly opened up a pure land in the molten whirl. The molten world is like a complete piece of land, but at this time, Xiao Yang used his soul power to open up a flame channel that runs from the top to the bottom. The flame channel spreads from the top of the molten flame towards the bottom of the molten world. This small space is densely filled with Xiao Yang's soul power, and it is not disturbed by the flame for a short time. How to find me? That's unavoidable for you to fall. Fengying Jiutian. Suddenly, a roar emerged from the bottom of the blank flame passage. The voice just fell, and 9 bright blue phoenix shadows screamed in the sky, and immediately flew out from the bottom. Phoenix clan? At this moment, sensing the phantom of the giant flame energy like a phoenix, the soul eater in Xiao Yang lost his voice. Feng clan? Xiao Yang couldn't help being surprised when he heard the words. The Dragon and Phoenix clans are probably the peak existences in the entire Great Thousand World. Although the Phoenix clan is slightly weaker than the Dragon clan, its strength is also unfathomable. Thunderfire Hell King. Xiao Yang saw the 9 Phoenix shadows attacking, and the huge Thunderfire Guardian directly displayed to protect himself. Bang bang bang! The 9 Phoenix shadows slammed into Xiao Yang's body one after another, and the thunder and fire power densely covered by the thunder and fire became weak in an instant, as if it would shatter at any time, but fortunately it successfully resisted the attack. What a tyrannical attack! I want to see, just where is this guy sacred? Putting away the Thunder and Fire Hell King, Xiao Yang stared at the bottom of the flame channel isolated by soul power, and muttered to himself. There, it is the bottom of this molten world, and it is also the place where the third layer guardian exists, but why it does not show up, why does it attack him? All kinds of doubts troubled Xiao Yang. Wong buzzing. The next moment, Xiao Yang's whole body's soul power appeared, and then the figure quickly shot down towards the bottom. Come down. This is the purgatory I prepared for you. The creature below didn't seem to be in a hurry, feeling Xiao Yang's figure approaching rapidly, instead a smile appeared. Heart palpitations. Its figure obscures the sun in this space, but this space stands at the bottom of the molten world, and it is a special space that is separated from the molten world. On the way, Xiao Yang's perception faintly told himself that this kind of fluctuation emerging from the mysterious creature at the bottom of the flame channel, although not as tyrannical as Ling Yuanzi, but it was a real 7-star fighting immortal powerhouse. Could it be that the guardian of the 3rd floor of the Earth Spirit Pagoda possesses the strength of the 7-star fighting immortals? Then the strength of the last 2nd floor guardian is not strong enough to break through the sky. But this is the case, even if this is the Longtan Tiger Den, it must be broken. With a sound, Xiao Yang had just used the isolation of his soul to get rid of the molten flame and came to the bottom of the molten world. It was as if he had entered another space. He swallowed hard and lost his voice. What is it? Just when I came to this space, the burning feeling disappeared without a trace, and what was replaced was a touch of silence, which made my heart feel cold. This is a rather special dark space, endless as far as the eye can see, but the molten world is standing above this space, just as if the two spaces are blocked by some force, so they are separated from each other. Boy! Just when Xiao Yang was surprised by the mysterious dark space and the molten world here, a roar came out, but at this moment, the sound was unusually loud and piercing, as if it was right in front of him. This is Ancient Phoenix. With the appearance of the voice, Xiao Yang's eyes and soul force easily captured the source of the voice with the help of the source of the voice. This is a giant-like creature, with cyan flames burning all over its body, and it is vaguely integrated with the color of this space. The cyan flame is like a scorching sun, beating slowly and never stopping, and above its body, the lifelike, rather extravagant feathers seem to be mixed with some mysterious power, indicating that this guy was extraordinary. Phoenix. The Aborigines among the Phoenix clan are also ancient giant creatures with the blood of the phoenix. It's actually an ancient alien beast phoenix. This guy should be a strong person in the Phoenix family, but I don't know why it exists in the Earth Spirit Pagoda. Could it be imprisoned by the chaos element of the Earth Spirit Pagoda? But that's not right. The Phoenix clan is like the Dragon clan, and they are also like giants in the world. How can it be? Looking at the huge phoenix beast in front of him, Xiao Yang muttered to himself. However, Xiao Yang found that this ancient alien beast surrounded by cyan flames seemed to be completely bound by countless extremely large green plants and could not move the slightest, also dare not contaminate the slightest. Kid, die. Seeing Xiao Yang's arrival, the ancient beast did not hesitate. Above the head and crown, an extremely hot blue flame emerged, but the power of this flame was as big as Xiao Yang's. A tyrannical power like a flame of heaven. The head and crown surging, the feathers all over his body trembled, and after a while, blue flames filled the air, and then the overwhelming attack roared away at Xiao Yang. Damn! Xiao Yang fell into a brief thought because of the appearance of this ancient giant beast. He thought that this guy could not help but directly attack people, and suddenly a trace of blood flowed out from Xiao Yang's skin, but it was only in the blood, but it contains a strange taste, not only with the blood of the Dragon clan, but also with the power of the Xiao clan. This blood. With a successful strike, the ancient beast's pupils shrank tightly, as if he could smell some other fluctuations in Xiao Yang's blood, and his face immediately turned hideous. Not good. Xiao Yang turned around and suddenly wiped out the blood, but it was still a step too late. Little bastard. How can there be such fluctuations in the blood on your body? In an instant, the voice of the ancient giant beast filled the entire space like a thundering thunder, full of anger. Dragon clan or Xiao clan? Xiao Yang's expression became ugly. He was always vigilant about this guy, but he was still puzzled in his heart. The strength of this ancient giant beast is probably the real 7-star fighting immortal. Even if Xiao Yang is now bound in this space, if Xiao Yang wants to obliterate or escape, it will be as difficult as reaching the sky. After all, the powerhouse of the Phoenix family is still stronger than 7-star fighting immortal is probably not something Xiao Yang can handle now. Die. In an instant, as the ancient alien beast suddenly became hideous, an indescribable wave of destruction suddenly swept the entire dark space with ease. Xianshu. Seeing the violent fluctuations of hungry energy around, at this moment, even all the power here was completely mobilized by the ancient giant beast, and Xiao Yang's absorption and grasp of the energy of the world was temporarily cut off. General. Boom. After a while, around the ancient behemoth, an exquisite little energy fire phoenix-like energy body slowly appeared. On the fire phoenix, quite exquisite lines were engraved, and a touch of strong fluctuations gently diffuse out. Like the power of heaven, like the thunder that destroys the world, Xiao Yang's heart was shocked. I'm afraid. I can only fight. Seeing this, Xiao Yang's eyes became deep for the first time. The dragon god's 3 transformations were displayed in an instant. In the blue half-dragon arm, the dazzling pattern of dominance moved violently, and even it was the 2 holy flames plus the power of the great heavenly seed flame, which were quietly hidden under the blue dragon scales. Once the fire phoenix hit, Xiao Yang would shoot without hesitation. People of the Xiao family must die. Phoenix feather. After a while, the bound ancient giant beast trembled, its uncontrollable power suddenly turned into a wave of incomparable strength, and blasted towards Xiao Yang. The fire phoenix is quite small, but it is extremely beautiful. It was called by the ancient giant beast, and its body trembled. It walked directly through the dark space and descended towards Xiao Yang. Damn, the surrounding space is imprisoned. Xiao Yang's body became difficult to move when he sensed the approach of this devastating blow. Die. For what the elders of the Xiao clan did to our Phoenix clan, let's get some interest back from you. In the future, our Phoenix clan will definitely kill your Xiao clan. Seeing Xiao Yang waiting like this with a deadly appearance, the ancient behemoth suddenly laughed, his voice filled with a smile. Humph. Huafeng, my dignified descendant of the Xiao clan can also be wiped out by a mere bird of yours. Death to this seat. Just when Xiao Yang's eyes turned red and he was ready to fight, the void around Xiao Yang's body shattered in an instant, and a tyrannical force descended directly, like heaven and earth. The overlord-like Xeon aura permeated this dim space. Xiao Zifan, you weren't imprisoned and obliterated in the depths of the Earth Spirit Pagoda. How could it be? Perceiving the sudden appearance of the phantom, the bounded Huafeng's huge body couldn't help shaking. The strength of the 2 of them is also the 7-star fighting immortals, but they are one in the sky and one in the ground, and the strong one is the so-called Xiao Zifan. Go away. The little Phoenix family, there is a misunderstanding. Someone will come to rescue the siege in the future. If you are obsessed with it, then you can't blame me. Seeing the phoenix of destruction roaring away at Xiao Yang, the sound of nothingness contained in it. A hint of vicissitudes permeated gently, and all the energy in this space suddenly became quiet, and the fire phoenix also became quiet, and after a while, it completely dissipated. Guru. With a sound, the void was closing, and Xiao Yang's figure suddenly disappeared here, leaving only Huafeng alone. Asshole. Damn Xiao clan. In the First World War, if it wasn't for your Xiao clan, how could our Phoenix clan have suffered heavy losses? You will always be the eternal enemies of our Feng clan. As soon as the words fell, the place returned to calm, but this Huafeng's hatred for Xiao Yang was already buried in the bottom of his heart. Following the attack of the Fire Phoenix on the 3rd floor of the Earth Spirit Pagoda and the action of the mysterious powerhouse, Xiao Yang was also taken away from the 3rd floor and headed towards some mysterious places deeper in the Earth Spirit Pagoda. Somewhere, among the huge mountains and forests, in a circular earth vein, there are 2 human beings, a man and a woman. The masculinity is high, and there is an invisible pride on the face. Its aura is extremely tyrannical. A 7-star fighting immortal level powerhouse. Beside the man, there is a woman. The woman's face is as delicate as jade, the body is slender and extremely beautiful, the waist is slender and full of grip, the legs are standing straight, and the light blue dress is swaying in the wind, revealing invisibly an otherworldly scent that makes you linger. 5-star fighting immortal level strength, Yu Rua. Zifan. What happened to this guy? Rescue him. After a while, Yu Rua, a beautiful woman, said to Xiao Zifan who was beside her. Her voice was soft but full of urgency. Hey, Rua, this guy is a descendant of our Xiao clan, and he couldn't have fallen so easily. Maybe it was because my power took him through the 4th floor of the Earth Spirit Pagoda, and there were some weird fluctuations. Xiao Zifan heard the words, grinned and said, obviously very fond of this figure. He's from your Xiao clan, you can't treat him well as an elder, and he seems to still have the breath of our lost child. At the end of the sentence, the beautiful girl Yu Rua slowly stared at Xiao Yang, who was in a coma, and muttered to herself. It is said that a loving mother has a thread in her hand, a wandering child wears her clothes, and Xiao Gui is the descendant of the two. Therefore, as a mother, Yu Rua, a beautiful woman, is very sensitive to Xiao Gui's breath even after being separated for many years. The strong Xiao ghost breath, there are only 2 possibilities. First, Xiao Yang wiped out Xiao Gui, thus swallowing his breath. On the other hand, the two had an extremely profound relationship, and that breath was given voluntarily by Xiao Gui. What? Is this true? Xiao Zifan's smile instantly solidified and turned into a heavy touch. You can't go wrong. Yu Rua, a beautiful girl, nodded solemnly. Little guy, you also have the blood of our Xiao clan. We are strong people of the Xiao clan. I hope you don't do anything to disappoint me, otherwise. After a while, Xiao Zifan's expression became solemn. Staring at Xiao Yang, he slowly opened his mouth. If Xiao Yang's actions were really the last step, even if he had the blood of the Xiao family, Xiao Zifan would completely obliterate him. Wang Om. While the two were talking, Xiao Yang only felt that his body seemed to be brought into an extremely unfamiliar place by some extremely tyrannical force, and the strong force gave Xiao Yang signs of awakening. Little guy, are you okay? Suddenly, a soft voice sounded slowly beside Xiao Yang. This is, where? Xiao Yang forced his eyes to open, but found that he was already standing in a forest of birds and flowers, and asked. Here. According to your understanding, it should be called the 4th floor of the Earth Spirit Pagoda. After a while, Xiao Zifan spoke slowly, but his voice was full of displeasure. Thank you for your help just now. Xiao Yang hurriedly stood up when he noticed the man speaking, and said respectfully. When he was dealing with the 3rd layer of Fire Phoenix just now, if it wasn't for the great power in front of him who was using his power across the void, I'm afraid that Xiao Yang's situation would have been more fortunate than fortunate. It's too early to say thank you. I have something to ask you, please tell the truth. After a while, Xiao Zifan looked at Xiao Yang with a solemn expression and said. Senior, may I ask? Xiao Yang stood up slowly, and also realized that the situation at this time seemed to be not quite right. Why are there some ghostly fluctuations in you? Xiao Zifan did not shy away, and said directly. This is my holy flame. Xiao Yang heard the words, and the blue ghost-faced soul flame was directly displayed. The cyan ghost-faced soul flame just emerged, and suddenly this forest of birds and flowers was filled with a trace of violent power. Holy flame! After Xiao Yang's exposure, the beautiful women Yu Rua and Xiao Zifan were equally shocked. It's not this kind of ghost, it's this. After a short period of surprise, a ghostly ghost appeared on Yu Rua's body. The stock is quite soft and powerful, making people feel quite warm. This is. At the next moment, Xiao Yang's pupils shrank tightly and he lost his voice. Before entering this place, Xiao Gui had vaguely told himself that things about his parents were probably related to the Earth Spirit Pagoda, and Xiao Yang, as Xiao Gui's eldest brother, was naturally willing to help Xiao Gui solve this matter. Senior. After the breath, Xiao Yang's body was filled with the same ghostly energy, and Xiao Yang opened his mouth with hot eyes. This thing was given to him by Xiao Gui when he went to the Earth Spirit Pagoda. In Xiao Gui's words, if they encountered a strong person similar to his parents and displayed this strange ghost, they would understand it. Hey! The ghost chi lifted from Xiao Yang's palm directly merged with the ghost chi on the Chenying woman's body. Is he okay? At the next moment, Rao Ichien's beauty, Yu Rua's 5-star fighting immortal-like strength, could not help but turn red, because at this moment, Xiao Yang had already told them with practical actions, Xiao Yang and their lost sons had a very deep relationship. His name is Xiao Gui, and he is about the same age as me. After he was born, he wandered around Li Huanyu for a while and was unpopular. Cold-eyed, he was arrested by some major forces and tried to decipher the identity of other people's ghost combination, but countless people returned without success, so he was auctioned by auction. Xiao Yang said slowly. With a sound, Xiao Zifan, who used to be unsmiling in the past, was full of anger. Many trees around the forest were shattered the moment he squeezed his palms tightly. Even this big man's eyes turned red for a while. Later, because I had the blood of the Xiao clan, I took him back, and now he exists in the Earth Spirit Academy, and he has someone he likes, But because the parental matter has not been resolved, he has not been able to face him directly. The woman of the scorpion, his current strength is about 4-star dose Yan. Of course, I am his eldest brother, he. At the end of the sentence, Xiao Yan couldn't help laughing. Little guy, we really blamed you. In the blink of an eye, the beautiful woman Yu Rua covered her mouth and nose with her hand to prevent herself from crying, and said immediately, "Two seniors, now that the matter is over, I came to the Earth Spirit Pagoda. One of the purposes is to rescue Xiao Gui's parents, so as to fulfill his love and wishes, but it doesn't seem to be that simple here. Two seniors, what should we do? Escape from here?" Suddenly, looking at the two figures in front of him, Xiao Yang said. According to Xiao Yang's perception, this mountain forest is an extremely powerful formation, and both of them have a 5-star fighting spirit or even a 7-star fighting fairy level, so Li Huanyu wants to obliterate such a strong person. It was extremely difficult, so instead of obliterating them, they imprisoned them here. This video will end here.